So good day, everybody, and thank you very much for this, the organizer of this leadership summit. I'm sure it must be a great day in Nigeria, and it's quite nice here. Dr. Amy has already, it's already done what, done half my job. So I don't want to get into anything. I am only trying to say that it is the youth of any nation that really builds the country. Okay, and that youth must have a sense of self-esteem, self-pride, and the belief in itself. And therefore, I go to the next one, which is it's all about regaining the Nigerian pride. I mean, India is in a similar situation as in Nigeria, so I can empathize very well. In fact, it is in a similar situation as entire Africa. So it is about regaining the pride, regaining the past glories that we have. And it is essentially and really the youth of any country that can do it. So pride comes from having a kind of a self-belief in itself. And I believe that people like Dr. Amy and all of us believe in you, and you need to believe in yourselves too. So that's about what it is. And it is about creating a self-image. And like this picture shows, that even if we are small, we need to think big. We need to kind of become really something. And for that, of course, we need to work hard. And well, success does not come by you only climbing the peak. It is by taking along with you a whole lot of people which form your society. The society can first be maybe your Nigerian society and then the global society. So whatever you choose to do must essentially elevate everything, and that to me is success. Now these are some of the quotes that I have got through. Opportunities don't come, will not happen, and given this COVID thing, everything is becoming redefined, which means you need to create them. This is what Chris Grosser said. And then like Thomas Jefferson said, that I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. It's a no-brainer. It's easy to understand that working hard usually gets you the best possible results. Okay, all progress takes place outside the comfort zone, said Michael John Bobak. Now, this is what it is. Usually we are scared. We like to stay within, our own, what should I say, shells, where we are comfortable. But if that is what we want to do, then that is what we remain. And that is how we are. I believe that the youth anywhere in the world, in India, in Nigeria, in any part of the country or any part of the world, they are the ones who are raring to go. There is an enthusiasm and they are able to find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. It's again another no-brainer. Okay, excuses are meant for those people who really can't do anything. Okay, those who want to will find that they will be able to find another way out. Okay, so to me, success is simply, basically, success is when I can achieve a certain amount of freedom. And it is freedom to do what I want to do, when I want to do, and how I want to do. It's completely going to be my choice. And this has to be done for the betterment of yourself and therefore the society. I mean, we have a criminal here who's gone away, who's run away and all that. Well, that is not success. He sees a lot of money and all that, but I don't think that's success. So that's what, to me, success is this, of freedom to be able to do what you have to do, what you want to do, how you want to do, when you want to do. Now, one of the things that we all face is a failure. Okay, and a series of failure often. Most of the failures should not be treated treated as something to give up. It should be treated as a stepping stone towards your achieving success. Okay, so that is what it is all about. Now, what do we need to achieve success? First, whatever we want to do must be serving the society. We are a part of it. We are what we are because of it, and therefore we must give it back to them. Then there are, every one of us have a few likes, very pressing likes, something that we can't do without. We must. It is so riveting that we try and look at it. I mean, we find an excuse to get into that all the time, and that's what is called passion. Then that's what we need to follow. If we do that, as I progress in this presentation, I'll be able to tell you. Now, following that passion obviously means that you have some kind of a potential, some kind of a talent to be able to do it. It's time to unleash. Okay, that's what gets you the success. And finally, whatever your passions, whatever your potentials, must convert into something where you are able to earn enough to service your needs and the needs of your society. In this case, your country. Okay, so we need to get out of a situation where we are considered to be either a developing country or an underdeveloped country or something like that. We need to get out. We you of any country can do. So the important point is considered is to choose a career, and career is always a very long term decision. It's a lifelong decision. Normally a career change doesn't happen, or if it happens, it does happen, but if it happens, it is in related fields. Or if you have made a wrong career choice, you can look at it one more time. As we go ahead in this presentation, you will know. Now that once you and for your nation and your society, it is something where you like to spend most of your time, and then you get into the mode of career planning, which Dr. Amy just talked about. Okay, which is know your values, learn about yourself, identify your skills, research your career options, and link yourself to the career itself. Now that's where you have to make a choice. Once you're going into the big bad world, as they say, as you can see this little duck going into the troubled waters, it has to choose a path where it wants to swim. Okay, so you have a choice: either be self-assured, confident, and thrive, or waver and perish. Okay, normally the youth, the young people are confident. Generation, we still had doubts. We still were trying to learn. But this generation, wherever I have gone in the world, I've seen that they are very confident. They know what they want to do, and they know how to achieve it. So it is, if you have that, then you have the first building block of succeeding. So then what do you do? First is, I want to resolve a problem. Anything that you do, particularly as Dr. Amy was speaking about entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is nothing but solving a pain point, a pain in the society in a way that is beneficial to the society and therefore beneficial to me as well, or you as well, in trying to make a living. And to achieve that, you are willing to work hard. Now that, as we talked in the earlier slide, was if you are passionate about it, hard work isn't going to be hard work. As we go along, we'll see that. The other option you can take is I want to exploit others' problem for my personal benefit. These are the three things you can do. I can show off a small thing that you do, and you want to show it off to the world that, look, this is what I did, that is what I did. This is a perfect method of a loser. A perfect loser would like to do this kind of a thing. He would also like to, deliberately procrastinate most of the time, to wait for others to come asking for his help. Okay, and then he becomes a big, hero or something like that. That also is something that gets discovered very soon by all others, and it eventually results in you being labeled as a loser. Similarly, lying and cheating others is always a bad business. Fancy you getting cheated by somebody, and how does he feel? Or how do you feel? He might feel nice, but how do you feel? And if that guy keeps on cheating many people, then how does the society feel? And finally, what happens? He goes into, some kind of a criminal activity or whatever. The other, the question again, I'm conscious of my ethical values. Now, each one of us have grown, and to be proud, I mean, we represent our families, our communities, our nation, and how we display ourselves, how we work, how we play, how we meet people, makes all the difference, makes the impression for all those three things I've talked about. I mean, it would be, I met this Indian, and my God, Indians are very friendly people. Or I met this Nigerian, and my God, very simple and very friendly people. In fact, there's a friend of mine, I was talking to him this morning, and it seems he has lived in Nigeria, and he finds Nigeria, a place which is very, very pretty, very, very beautiful, and simple and straightforward people. Now, that's the impression. That's what it is. So how do you do it? First, you don't ask for more than what you deserve. Okay. If the value of something is, I mean, this is worldwide. We hear about pharmaceutical companies, stripping us or robbing us, uh, asking for huge, prices for medicines which can be manufactured at lower price. Now that's not very ethical, and now the governments are clamping down on them. At least in India, I can tell you that many MNCs are not very happy. But since India as well as Nigeria being very, very large markets, they have no options. But then why should such a thing happen? Okay, then you don't want to, jump or something like that. You want to genuinely follow a career path stage by stage, step by step. Now, this does two things. First, you earn experience, you learn whatever can happen. Secondly, as you go along, the people in and around you, within your organization, within your entrepreneurial, peer group, and within the society, they have seen you grow, and they will then develop respect for whatever you say, whenever you say. Now, this is something which I have experienced myself. I have been in the corporate world, I have been an entrepreneur, and now having become a senior citizen, let me tell you, I'm going to be hitting 65 now. I am trying to give back to the society wherever in India and wherever in the world, by sharing whatever I have within me, the wrongs and the rights, where I went faltered, where I fell down, how I got up, etc., etc. So that is how, what I meant was, I'll follow a genuine path for my career advancements. And I value open and competitive culture. That is very important. Why it is important is because it helps me grow. If I recognize that this guy is better than me, okay, then I need to be competitive enough to know how to become better than that person. Okay. In the bargain, I upgrade myself, I lift myself. And when I lift myself, I lift my entire society with me. And there are excellent examples from South Africa. You have Nelson Mandela, and from here in India, you have Mahatma Gandhi. They struggled their way through, and it was in a very competitive political environment where there was a lot of exploitation and everything happened. Okay, but they shone not by sucking up to somebody, but by sheer merit, by sheer dint of their ethical values. So if you, then the other path that you can choose is you can, shamefully lie for personal gains. You can steal, you can bribe, you can involve yourself into corrupt practices, which politicians all over the world, I'm sure in Africa and definitely in India, these things keep on happening. I do not mind adapting to a closed feudal system to achieve personal, this is something like sucking up, that okay, I am from this community and we are superior, we are juniors and they are inferiors and all that kind of thing. So you have to keep away, because the world is moving forward, and this COVID now has brought us together. Now there are no castes, there are no creeds, there are no tribes, there are no, we are all as a human together trying to fight out things. And this is a lesson which probably nature has taught us, that we must now start valuing human beings. I believe this is the third time I'm asking. I believe in my own genuine capabilities and own genuine paths. This happens when you remember the slide where I told you about sitting down and assessing yourself. So assess yourself. Now, the hint here is go back and sit somewhere all by yourself and think. Analyze yourself very, very critically, very, very unforgivingly, and discover your strengths and weakness, the SWOT analysis that Dr. Amy just talked about. So are you willing to learn and acquire genuine skills? Because if you have identified something as your strength, then how good are you going to become? Okay. Then excel in whatever I do and show my true worth. Okay. So I don't want to ask people that please give me recognition. I show my true worth, and that is what gets me a recognition. Then willing to face interviews and win my jobs. I'm willing to compete, or you must be willing to compete, rather than use some, I would say unethical methods to acquire a thing that you don't really deserve. These are the, so opposite of that is what is in yellow. I won't waste time on this. So finally, it boils down to making a career choice. And therefore, a nation is as good as its citizens. Now, I'll draw one lesson from India. Way back in 1990s, mid-1990s, India was nowhere. We were so badly off that we had to, kind of put mortgage our national gold to even fund ourselves. From that point on, the youth then, and I was young at that time, there was a unsaid decision, no, we must get out of this kind of a situation ourselves. Of course, the government also at that time helped, and we took the path of information technology. And today, wherever you go, whatever you like to see, India today is a leader in information technology. And with COVID coming in, it has enhanced itself even further. So likewise, Nigeria has several, I have been looking at the website, several fantastic things. The need here is to think about it from a global perspective and how it will dovetail down to Nigeria, and then how you can contribute to making Nigeria big. So therefore, I say a nation is as good as its citizens. Now, how do you define a career? A career is obviously an identity, like Dr. Amy said, that she's a barrister, a lawyer. That's what her work is, and that's what she's mainly involved in. Then obviously, as she grew and she acquired barristership and now the doctorate, there is a certain social status which she grew. She didn't acquire it on the day one. She didn't take any shortcuts, as she just said in her introductory. It's a choice that you make. We will delve on this a little later. A career should obviously help one to be economically independent and socially self-reliant. So it should not be that even if you are doing something, you are depending maybe on your parents or government to do something about it. You should be able to help yourself, and in doing so, you are reliant. The society thinks and looks up to you. It should give you a sense of pride and obviously a sense of satisfaction. So each day after finishing your work, when you go home and sit down with your family, you are proud that you have done something and you are satisfied that your day's job was well done. So you start out with a plan in the morning, and when you come back and you review what you did, you must feel that you did a good job. Now, what is a perfect career? That's how you career is, and perfect career is an individual must get to do what he loves to do most. Like Dr. Amy said, and earlier I said, what you're most passionate about. There are people who go and do engineering or medicine, but their heart is maybe in making films or doing paintings or becoming a photographer. And some of them have achieved great heights. I wanted to put the photograph of one Mr. Shekhar Kapoor here in India. He is a very, very, very successful filmmaker. However, by qualification, he's a manager and he's done it from Harvard. Okay. So eventually he followed what he loved to do most, and he's a very, very successful person. Now, what really is that if you're following your heart, it must obviously make you enthusiastic about it. And therefore, whatever related activities. Now, sometimes, if you ever, Shekhar, I can't say that he's my friend, but I happen to know him well. And I've seen that there are times when he has come to the office and something is not clean. He doesn't wait for somebody else to come and do it. He does it himself because he wants the visitors who come to him, his film stars, his distributors, or whoever, to come and feel that they are successful. So that is something that you must have in what you are doing in your career. Then one is good at the skills related to the work. Now, whatever work you've chosen because of your passion, because of your liking, because whatever, you need to become good. The way to define this is that if you are going to do something, you bloody well be the best. And therefore, you have to constantly look at it to see where you can acquire the skill. I haven't seen many Nigerian movies, but there is a movie here called Dhoni, okay, The Untold Story. Now, Dhoni, I don't know how popular cricket is in Nigeria, but it is definitely popular in South Africa. So Dhoni is one of the most successful cricket captains in the world, and he comes from a backyard of India, from a very, very, very small town. And if you look at the picture, I'm sure it will be available in Nigeria. There is one particular skill he saw from a guy who was otherwise good for nothing. I mean, he was a time waster type of a person. But once he saw it, he went to him without an ego and asked whether he could teach him that skill. And that guy did a small deal that, can you stand me something, and therefore I will teach you. He was petty. Similarly, I'll give you my own example. I had gone to a small town. I was selling tires at that time, and I took my entire team there. I was the manager, and we were trying to crack open the market, and there was this important tire dealer there, and he just wouldn't budge. One effort, two effort, three effort. And while we were down, my chauffeur told me, "So, can I speak?" And he was being stopped by some of the colleagues. Look, we are discussing something important. Don't disturb us. And then I said, no, let me ask you, what do you want? And he said, sir, there seems to be a little bit of, lack of personal touch. All these things that you're doing is too technical and scientific. So he said, then I asked him, what should I do? And this was a simple skill that he told me. Why don't you invite yourself to his house? I said, how do I do it? He said, just propose to him that next time when I come here, may I have a meal with your family? And I did that. And my God, we were not even able to sell about 10 truck tires. 3 months down the line, we were selling about 100 truck tires in that very, very small market, which basically sold about 150 truck tires a month. So you see what I'm saying, that you will then, I mean, that's what a perfect career will all be about. Now, this is the point where I will say there is a difference between being literate and being educated. Okay. Now, being literate is knowing everything. We know, I mean, I did my MBA and I did my PhD and all that, and I know all the theories. Okay, so up to that stage, I'm only a very literate guy. The moment I become humble and curious to learn, I become educated, which means I'm willing to step down from high horses and learn from everybody. That's what a perfect career or perfect passion or perfect desire to succeed would do. You must be able to pay sufficiently to meet economic, I mean, so whatever you do, that particular career must eventually be able to pay enough to take care of your economic goals. If you are an entrepreneur, it should be able to not only look after you and your family and the staff that you have, but also help you spread your service to others, which would again require money. You should be able to sustain. So if you are doing well, you should be interested, and therefore you. So perfect career is what you love, what pays, and what you are good at. Now those who choose to do whatever their peer group is doing and whatever we see is the outward success stories, and then we try to get, maybe we succeed because of certain talents that we have, but eventually we get bored because that's not our calling, that's not what comes from the heart. Okay, so we eventually lose. And there's n number of, for every one Bill Gates, you will find millions who've gone down the drain. But there are people who are not very rich, but very happy, and they eventually win. Example, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, and I'm sure there would be examples in Nigeria too. You being young can be one such. Now, this is what is the process that we take. Dr. Amy talked about the first, assess yourself, then research the career path, find out what are the things that needs to be done and how do you go about it. This is a point where Dr. Amy also talked about mentorship and coaching and consulting. This is where you go to people like Dr. Amy and get advice. After that, you make a decision as to which direction of what element of this. This actually talks about, after learning, after assessing yourself, you have to think innovatively and come up with something which is out of the box, and it still serves the society. And that is what I mean by take action. And thereafter you start managing what you are trying to do and taking it forward. Now this is what a career planning must be emotionally first, and that's the most important thing. It must be emotionally very rewarding. It is not something which should be stressful. It is something that you love doing. It should obviously be economically rewarding. It should be professionally rewarding, which means in the professional world, you are recognized as something. Okay. And obviously in your society, you're considered somebody. Now how would you go about it? This is it. Now think of about 10 odd activities in the last 4 years that gave you maximum joy. Okay. Sit down with yourself, think what gave you maximum, what are the activities that you did and you enjoyed doing it. Some people might have enjoyed, helping others. look at it not from partying point of view of picnicking, but what you did in life that brought you joy. Then evaluate your interests and find out what you liked about those activities. Now, after you've made the list, you again start dissecting it. What was that aspect that you liked? I mean, this is what will give you that idea, that innovativeness, that creativeness, that can you expand it and monetize it and do something for the society. What challenges you face? Now that is important when you were involved in that activity. Okay, like I can see that the soccer team is quite popular in Nigeria, the national soccer team. If you ask each of those players, they will tell you about the first two things, and then they will tell you about what are the challenges they faced and how they were trying to you know get out of it, which is what are the skills they need to develop further to continue in those activities. Now take for in my example, I wanted to understand the world of business, not only in India but globally. So I am myself, I went to Philippines to do my MBA in Asian Institute of Management, which is actually an outreach of Harvard, and all our professors were from there. So it was really a poor man's Harvard, because I couldn't have afforded more than that, and therefore I went there not to Harvard. And I picked up the skills, came back to India, and I did not, because I had achieved, a prestigious thing during my time. Coming back from Asian Institute of Management was considered very, very prestigious in India, almost as prestigious as Harvard. But I joined as a normal salesman in a tire company. The reason was that I wanted to experience the travails or the challenges that are faced down at that level. Traveling into places where there were no transport, having walked 15 kilometers at times to meet up with a customer and try and sell him tires, and sometimes be told no, he's not buying, or he's buying from a competitor. And then I come back disappointed, reach home, maybe sit down with a glass of beer maybe, and think what could I have done better. So those are the challenges and skills I have. So determine my life goals. I determined that I want to progress in the world of business, and then I determined from whatever of those activities that I had, which are the activities that I do would ultimately yeah, I can see Pauline has raised a hand. Pauline, can I take your question at the end, please? Let me finish. Okay. Then the career goal is a launch pad, obviously, for you to grant. So this is what I said, that when I joined at the lowest level and I worked myself up to a point where I became managing director of a very large company. Okay. And that's a company which went worldwide. In between, to get more exposure, I tried to work for a multinational tire company called Pirelli. It's quite known in Nigeria too. And I worked many countries. In fact, one country of Africa also I touched, which was Tanzania, and learned what business is done and how it is done globally. And therefore, I treated my career as the start as a launch pad, and reached my pinnacle. Then it is to be uniquely focused. So there were so many times where things have to be done a bit differently. And I can tell you, I mean, my company in India started launching the off-the-road tires. Okay, and in doing so, they were very new, and there were other companies who were doing even better. Just excuse me, I'll try and turn on the light. Yeah, I hope you can view me now. So now, facing that kind of competition, can you see me? I'm not too sure. Okay, so I went about doing it a bit differently and meeting up people and trying to sell them ideas from their standpoint, and it worked. Similarly, my company was also making cycle tires, and we were making, they were not very good quality. And then when the quality came, nobody was willing to try. So what I did was, while everybody sold in a conventional fashion, I started going into small villages and trying to sell, almost trying to retail. And it succeeded to a point where the entire country's sales was equal to my sales alone. Okay. Now this is how, and now when you are planning your career, you have to do two things. You have to be decide that, okay, I'm going to end up as the MD, or I'm going to be somebody known in, let's say, the banking sector, or like Dr. Amy in legal profession, or you can have both. So I'm going to be a MD of a tire company 15 years, 20 years down the line, and you start working towards it. So then map this thing with your life goals. What are the things you want? What kind of family you want? What do you want to do for your society with your career goals? And this is what it is. Now, career goal is basically based on individual aspirations of how you want to rise. Okay. And then you must also have these kind of aspects, help in finding the possibilities. Hello, yes, Amy. Hello. Hello. Yeah, tell me. Okay, so I will not go into this. These are the small things, because this presentation will be available with the organizers, so you can look at it. Now, basic point that I'm trying to make is that when your career meets the aspirations, your aspirations in life, or whatever you want out of life, then it is no more work. Now, fancy going to an office and enjoying yourself as if it's a party, or it's a picnic, or you're having fun. Then would you mind working extra? Would you mind doing something more? That is the first step to know that you are succeeding. This is the second thing where again you need to. Now, how you are going to go and decide? First, find out, as Dr. Amy said, you're making information. Look at the career prospect in that particular area, etc. This is again available, so you can take it from there. Now, making career is again, now these are the important aspects, because these are your personal aspects, family expectation, what peer group pressure that works on you, etc., etc. Finally, the decision must be made on your interest, life goals and aspiration, skills you have, and the potential you have to do it. Now, combining national pride, self-esteem, and personal success, this is something which is mirror, mirror on the wall. I'll always get up after I fall. Whatever, whether I run, walk, or have to crawl, I'll set my goals and achieve them all. This was a very nice thing that I found from the net, that you are not an African because you are born one. It is the other way around, that you are an African because Africa is born into you. Okay, it's in your genes, it's in your DNA, it's your entire biological makeup, and therefore it's something that you should be proud about. This is Marimba Annie, and I think she's spoken beautiful. This is what it's again an African proverb. If we stand tall, it is because we stand on the shoulders of many ancestors. And this speaks about the kind of pride that you must. Every time you do something wrong, every time you don't want to succeed, every time you try to shy away from work, you are letting down your ancestors. So the choice again is yours. Either you can continue to remain miserable or motivate yourself. Whatever has to be done, it's always going to be your choice. Like Lord Bernard Shaw said, life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself, which is what every young person must aspire to be. This is what, if you want to change the future, you must change what you're doing in the present. All right. So do you have it in you to change the perception of the world about you and Nigeria? Do you? The question is really to you all guys, and I would like to see how you all succeed. This is completely from Nigeria. All of you know this gentleman. He's a Nobel laureate. Let us say there are prospects for a new Nigeria, which is highly positive statement, but I don't think we have a new Nigeria yet. So he has thrown a challenge to you youngsters. Will you be able to do it? So it is all up to you to make Nigeria great. And with COVID-19 having come, and we are now getting into Industry 4.0, that's another session we can take, because both India and Nigeria, and in fact most of Africa and Nigeria and India missed the bus in the last three revolutions. However, this Industry 4.0, we can still catch the bus, but if we miss it, then it is gone forever. In all the other three things, the Industry 1.0, or the first industrial revolution, was based on steam. You know, you had steam engine, steam mills, etc., etc. Then came electricity, okay, which many of our countries still is struggling, and so we have not reached that advancement, and we kind of missed the bus. The third one was in the IT, where India caught the bus early on, and we are sailing. The fourth one is going to be on something known as artificial intelligence. Okay, and the bigger countries, or the more successful developed countries, have sensed it. That's the route to leadership. However, the ground at the moment is level playing. So even the poorest and poor, even the most underdeveloped country can get into that bus right now. So it is up to us whether we want to do it or not. Okay, so just because you aren't where you are, where they are, does not mean that you don't have what it takes. And I sincerely believe that. Whatever little research I did about Nigeria, and whatever Nigerian friends I have across the globe, I believe you all can do it. And I'm waiting for that Nigeria to emerge. So let's try and make Nigeria great again. And yes, we can, and we will. So any questions? There was one hand raised. Pauline, I'm going to be welcoming all the questions if you want.
Thank Dr. Philip for his session and everything else. My question simply is just on the process between getting all we have to acquire to be the best in our career, between where we are at the present and how to get there. My question is just that what are the processes of coping the challenges? Because he said something about our career path being something that can pay for your finances. What if you're in a situation where you're on the path of a particular career path, but it is not yet paying what you want? How do you cope in the process of between where you are now and getting to where you want? Thank you.
Shall I take the question? The question is for me, Tamir.
I think you should take the question, and then once you are done, I come back with my presentation. I got kicked out. I'm back on the webinar.
Did you get my question?
The question is to me.
Yes, it is to you, sir. Dr. Philip.
Dilip,
Dr. Dilip, rather.
Dilip. Okay,
Yeah,
very
Dr. Dilip.
simple. It's very simple. Uh, about almost about 10 years ago, there used to be, or maybe 3 decades ago, there used to be a place called Silicon Valley in US. Heard of that, Samuel?
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, yes, I do.
yeah, and
Yes.
most of the people who went there had ideas, very well crystallized ideas, and very definite way as to how they would move forward, and that got funded. So if you've got,
Okay.
can you tell me what is the career path that you are choosing? Let's try and work your way out.
Yeah, I want to develop a career path in management, in the business world.
Okay. So one of the first things, as I mean, my slide will be there with Dr. Amy, and maybe she will share it with you. One of the first things you need to do is understand what are the skills that you already have. What are the
Okay.
skills that you want to acquire? Then you want to
Okay.
find out where and how can you acquire that.
Okay.
And once you have done that, try and find a way to acquire those skills. Now, it need not be going into the best of best schools. It is not necessary that you go to Harvard to be the best. In fact, as the world knows, most of the successful people are maybe school dropouts. But it was their passion to find out. I don't know if you've read about Bill Gates. He was completely thrown out and they were right out on the streets. And from there they built up, and the money will come. Money comes when you have a solid idea. To get that solid idea, you have to demonstrate the skills somehow. You have to give. I mean, nobody is going to give you money for just saying that you've got a great idea. You have to tell them how you're going to do the idea and give them a kind of a confidence that you will carry it through. And that can only happen if you have the right kind of passion and the skills to back it.
Okay.
Demonstrable. So that is how it happens. You don't really have to go to the best school to be able to develop that. To answer your question, or if there is still a doubt, I'll be very happy to clear them.
All right. I'm glad with your answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, if